Furman takes on South Florida, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. The Paladins of Furman are the 3-point favorite in this matchup here. Totals at 131. We saw a half a point fade of Furman and movement downward on the total. Furman opened 3.5 down to -3. Total open 132 down to 131. 68% are leaning Furman, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now the Bulls of South Florida are plus $1.30 on the money line. Now USF is just 3-4 straight up on the year. They also failed to cover in their last couple of games. Their offense is averaging just 61 points per game. They're also shooting 40% from the field. Not so good there. Now Furman on the other side, a little bit different story. They're actually averaging 81 points a game. They're shooting 50% from the field. They're also shooting 36% from downtown. They're 7-1 straight up overall for the year. Now, a couple guys to look out for here. Jordan Lyons, 16 points a game, 3 assists he's averaging. He's also shooting 94% from the stripe. So look him to get the ball in his hands at the end of the game if Furman has the lead there. And, of course, Clay Mouncey, 15 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists for him. Noah Gurley, 13 points a game, 4 rebounds as well. Furman, they're giving up just 59 points a game. Their opponents are shooting just 28% from downtown. And when it comes to this total, Furman's 3-2 to the under when traveling. USF 5-2 to the under overall for the year. I like Furman in this spot here, so I'm going to lean toward the Paladins of Furman, -3. In the under 131 in that game. All right, next matchup is not actually on our screen, but it is a game of interest, and it is going to be Columbia taking on Delaware, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. Now, the Blue Hens of Delaware are -6, totals at 138. We saw a 1.5-point move toward Delaware and movement upward on the total. The Blue Hens open 4.5 up to -6. Total open 137.5 up to 138. 69% are leaning Delaware, 52% shaded toward the over. Right now, Columbia is plus 215 on the money line. Columbia is also just 3-5 straight up on the year, 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. They're averaging just 64 points per contest, and they're shooting just 40% from the field. Now, Delaware on the other side, they are undefeated on the season, a perfect 8-0 straight up on the year, 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. They're shooting 48.4% from the field, and they're giving up just 61 points per contest. Nate Darling, he is averaging 23 points per contest, 5 rebounds. He's also shooting 49% from downtown. Ryan Allen's got 14 points a game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And Justin Mutz, 14 points a game, 9 rebounds there. 3-0 straight up at home is Delaware. And when it comes to the total, we're looking at a Columbia team who's 75% to the under for the year, 4-2 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the Blue Hens in this matchup here. Give me Delaware -6 in the under 138 in that game. The next matchup, Miami taking on Illinois, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. The Fighting Illini are -7.5, total 146 and a hook. Pretty good two-way action on this spread. Not a whole lot of movement there as of yet. We did see movement upward on the total, however. Once again, Illinois open and remains -7.5. Total open 145 and a hook, up to 146 and a half. 52% are leaning Miami, 60% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Hurricanes are plus 320 on the money line. Miami's lost their last 2 straight. They lost to UConn and Florida in those matchups. They've also failed to cover in their last 3 straight. They're giving up 71 points a game. Their opponents are also shooting 45.1% from the field. Now, Illinois, on the other side, they're ranking in the top 3 in the nation in scoring, top 10 in offensive field goal percentage, top 3 in offensive rebounding. Ayo Dosunmu, I butchered that name, Ayo Dosunmu, 16 points a game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Andres Feliz, 15 points a game, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And Kofi Cockburn, 15 points and 12 rebounds for the big man from Jamaica. Illinois, 6-1 straight up on the year, 2-0 against the spread in their last couple of games. Total-wise, Illinois, 60% to the over in their last 5. Miami, 3-1 to the over in their last 4 away from home. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take Illinois -7 in the over 146.5 in that game. And before I go ahead and move on, just want to go ahead and take a quick timeout and just welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Monday's college basketball action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are currently hitting at 65% for the entire college football season. We're also doing excellent in college basketball as well, and you could check out my record in college basketball right on that website. Now, we do daily premium selections on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. We also have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to, including a $29.99 a month college basketball tier, under which you'll get minimum 3 college basketball plays per week, plus every single tier that is cheaper than that. So you're getting, I didn't do the math, but it's roughly $150 worth of value for just $29.99 a month. Once again, guys, when you subscribe to one tier, you get access to all the cheaper subscriptions as well for free. It doesn't cost you anything. So anyway, check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. Link for that site is in the description section below. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into our next game. It is going to be Clemson taking on Minnesota, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Minnesota. The Golden Gophers are -3, totals of 131. We saw a 1-point move toward Minnesota and movement upward on the total. The Gophers open as the 2-point favorite. They're now -3. Total open 128 up to 131. 51% are leaning Clemson, 53% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Tigers are plus $1.30 on the money line. Clemson's won 5 out of their last 6 games. They're also 6-0 against the spread in those 6 matchups. They're giving up just 61 points per contest. Meanwhile, their opponents are shooting just 37% from the field. Tevin Max averaging 15 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. And Amir Sims, 12 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists for him. Now, Minnesota on the other side, they're just 3-4 straight up on the year, and they failed to cover in 4 out of those 7 games. Their offense is shooting just 42% from the field. They're also shooting just 60% from the stripe. Now, total-wise, Clemson 80% of the over in their last 5. I'm going to lean toward the underdog in this matchup here. Give me the Tigers +3 in the over 131 in that game. And I'm going to slide my next and final matchup for the show. And our last matchup here is not on our board, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at it. And I'm talking about South Dakota taking on Washington. That's right, the University of Washington Huskies, and that'll be a 10:30 Eastern tip-off in that game. Washington's -13, totals 140.5. We saw a half a point move toward Washington and movement upward on the total. The Huskies open 12.5 up to -13. Total open 139.5 up to 140 and a hook. 59% are leaning Washington, 54% shaded toward the over. Right now, South Dakota's +700 on the money line. South Dakota's also failed to cover in their last 3 straight. They're allowing 73 points per contest. The Huskies, on the other side, 5-1 straight up on the year, 2-0 against the spread in their last couple of games. They're giving up just 60 points per contest on average, and their opponents are shooting just 38% from the field. Isaiah Stewart's averaging 17 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Naziah Carter, 15 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. This Washington offense is shooting 46.1% from the field. And when it comes to the total, Washington's 2-2 to the over in their last 4. South Dakota 2-0 to the over in their last couple of games, 6-2 to the over for the season. I'm going to lean toward the home chalk in this one. Give me Washington -13 and the over 140.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again we're currently hitting at 65% for the entire college football season on that website. I like the Washington Huskies -13 over 140.5. Clemson +3 over 131. Illinois -7 over 146.5. Furman -3 under 131. And last but certainly not least, I like the Delaware Blue Hens -6 in the under 138 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to Empty. Shout out to Ninja Chris, Gambling Junkie, Ethan Simone, Chibaku Tensei, Tamala Richardson, Real Hicks for Love. Shout out to SD. Shout out to Cassie Morton, Hyman Moore, Creamy Caramel, Surd Hog 1, and last but certainly not least, shout out to Paul Worthful. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon, where once again, we are hitting at 65% for the entire college football season on that website. Now, a lot of folks will ask me what's the difference between what you do here on YouTube and your Patreon page, and that's a great question. What we do here on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total. And if you were to do that in your real life with your hard-earned money, bet every single game, side and total, you're going to lose in the long run. And as a matter of fact, you'll probably end up losing in the short run as well. The books are too smart, they're too sharp, and the math is always against you. They have too much money. They can absorb the swings. So what we do on Patreon is we really narrow it down and kind of focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage selections, games that I personally have action on. So when I win, you win. When I lose, you lose. And I'll tell you this much. My current record on Patreon is a whole lot better than it is on YouTube. And you can check out that current record for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on patreon.com/BrockPage.